Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We have raised so far $798, which is all thanks to all of you guys, including this $25 donation from Basement Hero, just saying hashtag HeckRamby. For those of you who were tuning in to the Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest run that just finished by MadMark22, we had a very spirited discussion regarding everyone's favorite, or half of everyone's favorite, rhinoceros. And we are only $227 away from reaching the bonus run spin rhythm that Selkoof Mind is going to be running. Hopefully we'll reach that incentive, and thank you to everyone who has donated. We are so close. And by the way, as I was mentioning, we did meet the Let It Roll incentive for Amplitude, where the set list is randomized by the game. So thank you to everyone who has donated up to this point so far. We got some great runs still left to go, and coming up now is IllegallySam doing an, hopefully I get this right, in all training stages, any percent run of Levelhead. Sam, best of luck and have fun.
All right, thank you, Toronite. Hello, everybody. I'm IllegallySam, and I'm going to be doing Levelhead, all training stages, any percent for you here tonight. For anybody who doesn't know what Levelhead is, I have my marketable Levelhead plushies here to give a brief demonstration. So you got GR18 here. I'm going to be controlling him. Every level, I gotta grab the package here, you know, take both of them and just make it to the end of the stage. That's the gist of what this game is going to be. It's going to be a lot of levels. This game's got 93 of them. We're going to be playing all of them. So time will start here when I enter the first stage. And so I figure we can just hop into it, and I can explain more things as I go. So I'll give a countdown and we can get going. So time will start in 3, 2, 1. Let's get going. Alright, so like I said, this is Levelhead. It is a 2D platformer, and it's an indie game where the main focus of the game is the game's level builder and user level as a whole. This is the game's campaign, which is where all the training stages come from in the category title. And the campaign is sort of just like an introduction to what the game is about. It's got a bunch of fun cutscenes that we're unfortunately not going to be seeing, because it's a speedrun. But it introduces a lot of the game's mechanics, a lot of the game's items, and just gives you an example of what you can do with this game's level builder. So the thing about this category, in addition to playing through all of the stages, this specific version of all training stages is run from a completed campaign file, which means I'm just going to be running through every single level, one after another, pretty much no breaks in between the levels, unlike during a run where if I had started from a new save file, I would have to unlock every level. There'd be animations for all of it, there's cutscenes to skip, there's extra little bits and bobs to unlock, that kind of stuff. But because of this category specifically, we don't have to worry about any of that. It is just all action all the time for about an hour. And speaking of the action, I mentioned how to beat every stage I need GR18 to grab the package and make it to the goal. But the package isn't just there for, you know, make it to the end of the stage. It's not just a clear condition, it is also a platforming tool. So the platform is basically, or the package is basically a platform that I can stand on. And what that means is, you know, I can put it on the ground, jump off it, and get a little bit extra height. But who says that platforms need to be on the ground? Because you can also throw the package into midair and just jump off of it in midair, basically get a double jump off of it. That is called a super jump. I have already done at least 3 of them so far, if you've been paying attention. And if you haven't, don't worry, I'm going to be doing a lot more of them as time goes on. So this level here is a fun one, because this is also a level where it's kind of intended to do this kind of skip, because a lot of these levels do sort of have some intended skips, and then other ones very much do not. But this one is a fun one, because we can just go over this section here using the package. Because when you throw the package downwards, you get a little bit of kickback, and you like pop up a little bit. It was a little hard to tell there, because I was kind of off the edge of the map. but you'll be seeing it a lot, and I will be utilizing that a lot, where you can throw something down and then re-grab it and just, you know, keep your height without touching dangerous objects. In this level here, I did a super jump. I swear I'm going to call one of these out while I'm doing it, not just, you know, in retrospect, because this next level is also going to have a super jump, and this one's going to be a fun variant, because super jumps, you know, being able to basically on command give yourself a double jump that is not exactly intended is very powerful, and you can use it in a lot of different ways. So this level we're going to be using it combined it with sprint and just get on top of the map here. And we could just skip the entire second half of the stage. So another little piece of speedrunning this game when it comes to specifically the campaign, and specifically full campaign runs rather than individual levels, is when you reach the goal at the end of these stages, you know, there's the goal and it's got those little dots above it. Because what the game is trying to do is, you know, just like real delivery, you know, delivery people who, you know, they bring the package to your house and they're incentivized to slam that package down as high up as possible. Because everybody knows that's how delivery works. So the game does that exactly that, where every single dot above the goal is worth 300 points. And so if you get a maximum dunk, it is worth 3,900 points and you get a high score. But unfortunately, you know, slamming the package down from high up like that takes time, and it plays an animation. And so ideally what happens is I get a minimum dunk on every single level, because the difference between a minimum dunk and a maximum dunk is about a full second of animation. And, you know, using a second on every level is slow. Might be, might come as a surprise, but this is a speedrun. You know, I do kind of want to go quickly if I can, so whenever possible, I will be trying to get a minimum dunk, and that will, you know, on some levels that is as simple as just running into the goal and just not jumping, while other levels I will be doing some shenanigans to throw the package at the goal so that I don't hit the goal, and then re-grab it all the way at the bottom. And some of those are actually pretty fun looking, and pretty fun to do, so I do like some of the levels with those strats. But there are some levels where it is both easier and safer just to take the max dunk, take the second time loss, and it's not that big a deal. But this level here is a great example of another mechanic, sprint. Because that... Oh, well, you know, you get to see it again. But what I was going to say is that this jump that I'm doing right here is not possible without sprint. Because in addition to, you know, sprint making you run faster, which is kind of self-explanatory, it also gives you an extra tile of jump height. And so there are many levels where, in addition to, you know, going faster with sprint, that extra tile of jump height is required for the strats that I'm going for. And therefore, if I lose sprint, I'm going to have to use entirely different strats and basically back myself up in some way, shape, or form. And the way sprint works is that if you run in one direction for about 7 tiles, you just automatically get sprint as long as you didn't jump or stop moving. So no run button, nothing like that. But something that does have a button assigned to it is the power-ups in this game. So I turned green, kind of look like a watermelon, and I kind of am Spider-Man now because I can climb on walls. Because this is the level that introduces the tiptoe power-up. So like I said, the tiptoe power-up lets you cling to walls, and lets you wall jump, and lets you cling to the ceiling, and lets you, well, not ceiling jump, but you can cling to the ceiling. And it lets you turn into a bush, like every good power-up. So what the bush does, which is what happens when I hit the power-up button, is it basically is the stealth mode, where it lets me go through enemies without taking damage, and it lets me basically be invisible to certain kinds of switches that detect my position. And both of those will be required for a lot of these levels moving forward. And other times I will be doing it more out of safety than anything else, because it is not required, but there's a time and place for everything with these power-ups, and you will be seeing both of those later. So this level's a fun one because you can just go off the side of the map and skip half the level while going down, because the camera borders in this game are suggestions most of the time. Because the way the camera borders in this game work is you can basically go off the side of the map a little bit in every direction, except for the top where you can pretty much go as far as you want. Because the game does not instantly kill you when you go off the side of the map. Instead, what it does is it gives you like a tile or two of leeway, and so you can just go around the side, you can go around the top. Technically, you can even go off the bottom without instantly dying, but gravity exists, so good luck getting back up.
I do want to, Sam, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we are going to have to take a bit of a break because we're dealing with some minor tech issues. So I do apologize to everyone tuning in and watching this incredible run by Sam, by IllegallySam. But we are going to need to take a quick break. So we will be back. We will get those issues sorted out, and we'll return with some more Levelhead. Welcome back, everybody. And once again, we do apologize and thank you for bearing with us throughout this little bit of a minor tech issue. So either way, we want to say, we're proud to say we got this resolved and we got some Levelhead back with IllegallySam. So Sam, take it away.
Well, we're back, everybody, so I think we could just hop back into things. So I'll give a brief countdown, and I'll unpause and get the run going. So I'll unpause and get things going in 3, 2, 1, let's get going. The game even has a little extra countdown, because it doesn't want you to unpause the game, or pause the game and immediately, get killed because you didn't realize what was happening when you paused. It's a nice little feature. But this next level, this is a fun one. Because this is a level where you can just hold right, get sprint at the beginning here, and then you hold right for the rest of the level. That's the entire level. Because everybody loves a good hold right level in a platformer. Yeah, that one's nice and easy. Because we are playing every single level, not every single level has, you know, a ton of stuff going on, because there are a handful of levels that are more meant as, like, demonstrations for what certain items and certain interactions can do in this game. And so there are at least a handful of levels which are, you know, literally less than 10 seconds long and very, very simple as far as, you know, the strats go. But that doesn't mean they're bad levels. I still like a lot of them. But this one here, this is a level called Sproing Time, because that's not a spring, that's a sproing. It's just like a lot of other items in this game. You know, this game doesn't have fire bars, it has Bernie whirlers. It doesn't have conveyor belts, it has toe sliders. It doesn't have clouds, it has dense fog. And yeah, this game just has a really good sense of humor, where, like, you know, all of the objects in this game are named similarly in that, you know, they're not exactly what you'd expect them to be called. You know, we're not seeing any of the cutscenes, unfortunately, but the cutscenes also have a really good sense of humor. And if we were skipping them, the game even, like, gives you a little blurb from the narrator chastising you for skipping all the cutscenes, which is also always fun. This level here...
I love the meta humor.
Oh yeah, no, this game is great when it comes to that kind of stuff. This level here was a level that demonstrated the bush, because I had to go through enemies to beat that level. Yeah, this level here is Temple Gauntlet. This is one where I'm going to be running around a whole lot and not exactly doing every segment in this level as intended, because the way this level's supposed to go is you're supposed to, you know, come over here, beat these enemies, beating the enemies drops the sproing, and then you're supposed to go get a box using that sproing. But this little green enemy called Scrub, it drops a scrub shell when you defeat it. And a property of the scrub shell is that it can also hold down switches, not just boxes. So you can use that scrub shell to just hit that switch earlier than you're meant to, and just skip a good chunk of the level. Now, unfortunately, these birdie whirlers are not at a convenient cycle for me, so I'm going to wait that out before I try and go in here.
It reminds me a lot of the Poda booth from, like, Mario.
Yeah, I mean, those are, like, some of the earliest famous fire enemies, I feel like, so... Makes sense. You know, little fire bubbles with eyes. Iconic character design right there. Just putting eyes on everything. But no, this level here is Scrub and Ocula meet the GR18, or meet GR18, because these orange guys are Oculas and the green ones are Scrubs. I mentioned earlier how they drop shells. They're like Koopas from Mario in more ways than just that, because in addition to dropping shells, they also, the green ones turn around when they hit the edge of a platform, and the orange ones just keep going. So it's sort of like green and red-shelled Koopas, in that one of them stops and turns around and the other doesn't. But this is the level that is meant to showcase the fact that if you throw an object downwards, it gives you a little bit of extra height. Obviously, I've used that a bunch already, but this is the level that's meant to teach you that that is a thing. However, if you get Sprint, you also just get extra height, so we can skip most of the stuff in this level by just having Sprint instead of throwing things. And that makes it a lot faster. This next level, this is a fun one because I have to assume a claw grip for this one in order to do this strat in a way that is consistent. Because these moving platforms, there's a way where if you drop down through the platform and then immediately jump after dropping down, you're actually able to get the momentum from the platform twice. Because the game gets confused with its coyote timing, where if you jump with platform momentum, while dropping through the platform, you can just get the momentum again, because the game gives it to you because it sees your coyote jumping off the platform, and doesn't realize you already have that momentum. Unfortunately, the beginning here is a little brutal if you mess up the timing, but if you do get it, you get that, and then we can do this. No, I get to see it again because I messed up the next jump. There we go. So yeah, using that the double platform momentum, with a perfect run on this level, that it is about 4 seconds faster, and so for a level that is, you know, 20 seconds long without it, 4 seconds is a lot. This one's just a brief little level where you gotta dodge all the fire. Nothing too wild. But this next level's a fun one because there is actually a strat for this level That is the fastest strat, and I'm very much not going for it because this level has that little column to the right there where it has a bunch of fire, and you have to go around hitting all these switches to turn off all of that fire so you can actually drop down and reach the goal. It is possible to just go straight to the top, grab the package, and just drop down without clearing out any of the fire, and you just hope and pray that none of it hits you. Needless to say, that's not consistent, so I don't go for it. But it is a very, very funny strat if you're just trying to get the best time possible on that one. Yeah, this is Swoop-a-Doop Gulch. This introduces the Swoop-a-Doop enemy, which is that little drill bird. Where, you know, it targets you, you know, it spots you, it locks onto you, and then it swoops towards you. And unfortunately, you can't actually damage it while it's swooping, but if you hit it before or after, then you are home free, because that is what I'm doing here. In addition to that, though, because you can also bait them around, we can use them on this specific level to jump up here, because we were supposed to get the tiptoe. And, you know, wall climb up here, grab the package, and then do a whole bunch of other stuff like that, but by using the Swoop-a-Doop to get up there early, we can instead just go over the map using a super jump. I will say baiting Swoop-a-Doops is a lot harder than it looks because there is RNG to the angle that they swoop at when they target you, but thankfully that one was cooperative. Sometimes they are not cooperative and you just kinda gotta do it over and over again until they are. But this level here is kinda like this game's example of a quote-unquote Zelda dungeon, so to speak, because, you know, you're going room to room, the camera locks in each room, and, you know, you gotta solve little puzzles or little challenges in each room to avoid the next one. But yeah, we're skipping half the rooms because we have extra tools at our disposal. For example, we can take this box and just hop around the corner using the tiptoe, and the fact that the box gives us extra height. Because normally we're supposed to hit both of those switches with boxes, you know, it makes a bunch of platforms pop out, then you can climb up, but we're just skipping that entire second box, so we don't need it at all. And because we're skipping some stuff, we're also just going to go straight for the goal and damage boost towards it. Because the way armor in this game works is if you take damage, it launches you in the opposite direction from whatever you took damage from. And armor is, you know, just an item you can pick up on levels with it. And so the fact that it sends you in that opposite direction means you can use it to jump off of projectiles by damage boosting. You can use it to launch really quickly in horizontal directions, depending on how things are set up. And it is very, very useful. This level's a fun one, because this is, time is hard, which is the motto of speedrunners everywhere. Because time is hard. Yeah, this is just a big cycle-based level, and as long as you make all the cycles, you know, you can get the quote, like, pretty much the fastest time. It's like, there's some variance, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same every time. And also, we just had a Donkey Kong Country run. I don't think we had enough barrels. So here we have more cannons that are basically just barrels from Donkey Kong Country. It's like half of the players just call these Donkey Kong Country barrels, which I find funny. Right, the timing here at the end is a little tricky, depending on how things work out. Ideally, I actually do that, and then I can just manually go over to the last set and launch into the goal. But things don't always go ideally, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right, this next level, Wild Tunnel. Yeah, this level has Slippy Goo. In other words, it has ice physics, because why would you have ice when you can have Slippy Goo? That's way more fun. But yeah, you know, basic ice physics type stuff. It makes it difficult to slow down, and it makes it difficult to accelerate in the first place. But a trick that you can use with Slippy Goo is that if you instead jump and then reach max horizontal speed before landing on the Slippy Goo, you're already at full speed, so you don't have to worry about it, as opposed to trying to accelerate on the ground. So basically, whenever I see Slippy Goo, I'm going to be jumping in the air to accelerate instead of doing so on the ground. This level is Switch Karma. It's just got a bunch of switches. This level is also the only level where a very niche tech could be useful, and it's called the Blaster Super Jump. It's where you launch out of a blaster and then use the package to do a super jump in midair from the blaster shot, and that is the only level in the campaign where it could be useful, and even then it saves like half a second, so the fact that I didn't get it isn't that big a deal. It's just I like the tech a lot, and I wish I got it as a result, but it is what it is. This level here is the one with the next power. This is the zipper. The zipper goes through walls, because when you hit the power-up button, it zips you forward slightly, and that lets you go through walls. It also lets you do this. So yeah, we're just skipping that last section of the level entirely by using the zipper and the package to just go over the map. I'm glad I got that first try, because that is harder than it looks, and I do not always get that first try. This next level is very unique. You go left. And I'm sure anybody who has ever played a platformer knows how blasphemous it is to make a level that makes you go left at the start instead of going to the right. And I joke when I say that, but I have unironically lost like half a second because I hold right at the start of this level, forgetting that's the one where I go left. And I find that very funny every time it happens. Now that we have multiple powers, these levels are going to start combining them whenever possible. That'll lead to some fun interactions, but this level, you know, just gotta run to the right, grab the package, and then run away, all while having stuff chase me. There we go. Okay. It is actually possible to grab the package and turn around without aggroing the big Luzumi there, but it's a bit more finicky than it seems, so it is very, very fine to just aggro him and dodge. So this level, this one's a fun one, because we just go up here using the sproing, grab the package, and go straight to the goal. That level is normally way longer because we did not do a single thing as intended there, and skipped the entire level as a result. That is one of my favorite levels as a result, because that skip is very, very cool. Followed up by a level that I enjoy significantly less. This is Keep Up, okay? Once upon a time, this was one of the hardest levels in campaign speedruns. It is no longer the hardest level in campaign speedruns, but it is still far from easy. Because in order to do the fastest strat, I need to get sprint there at the start, and then maintain it here. And then doing all of that lets me just barely reach this platform here. You're not supposed to be able to reach that platform. And so the fact that you are able to just barely by using sprint is why this level is as fast as it is. Because otherwise I would have either had to use the other much slower platform or do some tiptoe shenanigans using ceiling super jumps. And back before we knew about that strat and we had to use use the super jumps to basically recharge the ceiling plane and tiptoe and just use that over and over, that level was one of the hardest levels in the run. And thankfully that strat is both faster and easier, so don't have to worry about that anymore. But if you thought one hold right level in a campaign wasn't enough, here's another one. I won't actually just be doing this one exclusively as a hold right level, because while it is possible to do this level as a hold right level, like 100% just the entire time, it is very, very, very tricky to get the timing down for that, so I always just play it safe. But that is a level that is a hold right level, and I find it funny that there is multiple. This is Clock Switch Tower. This is the cycle level, because it is very, very easy to mess up, lose time because you have to wait an extra cycle, and then that just snowballs into losing more and more time depending on how things go. Because sometimes you will miss a cycle because you played it safe and got a checkpoint, and so you want to, you know, maybe make that cycle and save a little bit of time by not grabbing the checkpoint. And then you regret it because you die and have to redo half the level because you didn't grab the checkpoint. So whenever I do runs, I almost always just take the time loss, grab the checkpoint, and play it safe. Alright. But this next level is, you know, classic platformer fare. It's a minute-long auto-scroller. So, Tornite, if you have anything you want to say, go ahead.
Absolutely. And first of all, hello to all the raiders who are just tuning in. For those of you who are watching right now, this is Prevent-a-Thon 4, and we are raising money for Little Warriors. The Little Warriors Brave franchise are open on October 14th, 2014, meaning that it has now been open and helping survivors for 10 years. And you can donate by typing in !donate. And by doing so, it'll take you to the donation page where we currently have an upcoming incentive. So if we hit $1,025 Canadian, we will unlock a bonus game that is Spin Rhythm XD. However, if you add into the donation page, if you go to the incentives, the add incentive page, there's a new incentive that is open, which is upgrading that game to expert difficulty. So you don't just have Spin Rhythm XD, you have Spin Rhythm XD expert mode. So if you want to donate to that, we are $225 Canadian away from doing so, and hopefully we will reach that incentive and get some more Prevent-a-Thon, because who doesn't want more Prevent-a-Thon?
So that level there was a fun one because I was able to use bombs to just launch myself forward at the very end there, because most of the items in this game are in some way, shape, or form momentum-based, where, you know, bombs launch you, armor launches you, all of the power-ups have some sort of movement modification. So basically, if you like momentum, you're gonna like what I have to offer with this game here, because this game's got a lot of momentum. But the enemy of momentum, cycle-based levels, this is another cycle-based level. This is one where, if I'm not careful, I can lose a lot of time because the cycles are very, very tight in order to go as fast as possible. However, at the end of it, we do have some momentum, because I can damage boost off this guy here and just launch myself forward. So it's got the best of both worlds. And if you didn't have enough damage boosting, that is this next level's entire gimmick, because it just gives you armor so you can damage boost off of these spike shaders here that are just rotating around on the bottom. Pretty simple level, but I like the gimmick it's got going. It's a fun one. And it's less than 10 seconds long. Alright, this level here, this is an unusual time. This is one of the hardest brawler levels in the game, because I need to kill every single enemy here in order to beat the level. And I already had things mess up, and then I accidentally died, so now I get to try again. So yeah, basically this entire level is routed out in a way where if I do everything correctly, the level will go down in a certain way, and that'll let me get a good time. And if anything goes awry, then I have to wing literally the entire level from that point onward. Because, you know, all of these enemies are on global cycles, and so if I take too long or mess something up, all of the enemies will be in different places than I'm used to, and that'll make things a lot harder for me. So, unfortunate that I died twice on this one, but I was able to at least get the strats that I was going for that third time, so that's a minor consolation prize, but this one is very much a very difficult level. And we can also skip the key at the end there by just zipping through it. You may be wondering why I didn't just grab the zipper sooner and go through the doors at the end. That's because they actually put 4 gates at the end there that require you to kill all the enemies to clear out. And the zipper can't go more than 4 tiles. So basically, they knew you could skip that key door because they made it so you couldn't skip all of the enemy gates on that level, which I find amusing because, you know, only blocking out some cheese is very funny. But this level is the half of an auto-scroller, because I always like to say this game has 2.5 auto-scrollers, and this level's the half, because that middle section there isn't an auto-scroll, because the camera unlocks. But yeah, that one is nothing too fancy, just gotta get through it as quickly as possible when you're in the parts that aren't the auto-scroller. This one's an interesting one, because this is the only level in the entire campaign where you are required to get every single gem in the level. So gems in this game are kind of, you know, your coin stand-in, where, you know, little yellow objects and sometimes bigger and not yellow. And the game has a system where there's a switch and a door that both of them can detect how many gems you have, and that one has a door that requires you to get every single gem in the level. And it's the only level like that, so that is the only level where I have to get all the gems. If I were doing 100%, or even just the version of this category from the new game, there are other levels where I would have to get all of the gems, but not in this category. Yeah, there are almost 5,000 collectibles in this game because of all the gems and all of the levels, so 100% runs are very, very involved, to say the least. But 100% in this game.
How long are 100% runs, by the way?
The current world record is 1 hour and 34 minutes. And I do hold that world record because not too many people run this game. But that is the world record, but my sum of best in that category is like under 1 hour 25. So needless to say, that is a category with a lot of room for improvement, but it's very, very difficult, so it is not one that I will be improving anytime soon. Because the requirements to 100% stuff in this game are you need to get every collectible, and you also need to get the on-time delivery, which is that little thing at the top of the screen where, you know, it gives a par time for you to beat, and since you have to beat the par time on every level, you have to get all of the collectibles in under that par time, and if you miss it, you have to do a level a second time, which is why 100% is so difficult in this game. But this isn't 100%, so this level here is a fun one because this guy at the end here, I don't have to kill him, I just have to make him leave. There's a type of switch in this game where it detects if an enemy is present, not if it's alive or not. So if you can just make the enemy leave the zone that it's detecting, you know, you don't have to worry about anything. But a couple levels back, I actually didn't mention it yet, but I did get another power. And it was the Waylay. Basically, the Waylay lets you punch. That's the gist of it. What the punching actually does is if you're on the ground and you hit the power-up button, you punch horizontally, and if you're in midair, you punch diagonally. And basically, if you're on the ground, you're going to want to be punching because it's always faster to do that. And punches can also damage enemies. So there are specific times where punching is very much recommended because it is useful to take out enemies slightly faster. But most of the time, I'm going to be using it specifically just to go a little faster in certain circumstances, and also completely break apart other levels like this one. So by grabbing this bomb, taking it all the way to the right here, I can go on top of the map and do this. And just, you know, use the sprint and the Waylay together to just gain a lot of speed. And so the game intended me to get 3 batteries and bring them back there in order to get the package, but I could just do that instead. Because the Waylay is very, very powerful in the right circumstances. And it's followed up immediately by a gimmick level, because this is the level that's meant to show you how you can make custom music in this game. I completely ruined the custom song by running ahead, but it just makes it sound really goofy. And that's literally the entire level. But this level, however, is not meant to be under 10 seconds long. But they didn't account for super jumps when building this level, so you can just do that. Grab the Waylay, grab the package, and just go straight to the end. Because the way you're supposed to beat that level is there's like a ton of boxes all throughout the level, and you're supposed to grab like 4 or 5 of them, use them to make a stack, and then climb that stack to grab the Waylay. But we didn't do that because we can super jump. Right. And you're seeing exactly why the item on this level, the bumper, is one of my least favorite items in the game. And that is simply because it is very, very difficult to be precise with them. Because they have 8 directions that they can launch you at, and for ones that are 1 tile wide, it is very, very difficult to be precise when they're that small. Which is why they're my least favorite item in the game. When you are able to use them effectively, they are pretty fun, but it's difficult to use them effectively. this level's a fun one because it's basically just, here's a ton of cannons, they're going to be shooting at you the entire level, dodge them. I even did a little unintentional damage boost that actually saved a little time at the end there. Alright, this one's an interesting one, this Triple Trouble. It gives you 3 power-ups at the start that you can choose from. Obviously we pick Zipper because Zipper lets you break literally every level it's in. And this is no exception, because you just grab the package early instead of opening up all of those gates that were keeping it contained. And just finish the level right away. And if you thought Zipper wasn't powerful enough yet, if I didn't give you enough examples, this level is also just going to be another example, because this one's called Battery Gauntlet, and as you would expect a level called Battery Gauntlet, it wants you to grab a bunch of batteries, and you use those batteries to open the way to the goal, and that's what it wants you to do, but it gives you made the mistake of giving you the Zipper literally at any point in the level. So you basically just go, you grab the Zipper, grab the package, and then you can just do this. Just go outside the map, and back in, and you can go straight to the goal. Alright, time for the hardest level in the run. Whew, barely beat. Yeah, I wasn't joking when I said some of these levels were literally just seconds long and just focused on showing off a gimmick. Because that is the shortest level in the game, and it is less than 4 seconds.
Okay, so you weren't joking. So you were joking when you said this was the hardest level in the game.
I was very much, yes.
I will say I do appreciate as a platform speedrunner myself, I do appreciate this incredible movement tech that you've been showing off this entire run, and looks like chat has also been loving the run so far.
That's good to hear, because this is a very fun game. This is probably, if anybody knows who I am, you've probably heard of this game because this is the game that I play. But the fact that this game has such good movement and mechanics and it's just a lot of fun to play is the reason why, I'm still playing it to this day, several years after it came out, several years after I started speedrunning it. Here we can use the fact that you can, gain height after dropping an item to just hop across those spikes using this key. And the way these rifts are set up, let me skip a little bit of stuff if I jump through them in a specific way. So basically, jump. Alright, it'd be nice if I jumped before I went in the rift. There we go. Alright, and then it'd be nice if I went back to the left and went in the rift that time. There we go. And then because you can grab through spikes, you can actually just grab that box early by grabbing it immediately after going through that last rift, and you can just go finish the level from there. This level is basically just showing you these are a thing, they have multiple colors, and you can use them to do some funky stuff. Because basically this level is just a giant puzzle where you have to figure out exactly what order to deposit all the keys in, and with what timing, and since I already know that order, I can just deposit them as fast as possible. Alright, but this next level, this is a very, very infamous level for both people who play the game casually, people who just start out speedrunning the game, and people who are very good at speedrunning this game. So this is Hollow Mountain Hike. And this level is infamous because if you mess up a single jump, you're falling back down the entire mountain. So basically the gist of what I have to do on this level is I have to climb up the mountain, grab all the batteries, bring them to the bottom of the mountain, deposit them, grab the package, and then I'll go all the way back up to the top. And so if you mess up and have to climb the mountain an extra time, obviously that's slow, so I don't want to do that. Thankfully, that first time up the mountain went pretty clean. I was able to get everything pretty quick, and now I can just hopefully make my way back up and go from there. But yeah, making my way back up is difficult because from this point onwards, there's a bunch of one-tile-wide platforms, and I have to just make sure I don't fall off of them. But thankfully, that actually went really well. That was 55 seconds is a really good time for that level during a run. But if you thought a vertical level with a bunch of moving platforms was bad enough, here's a horizontal one where now if you miss a platform, you die. Like that. That was 100% intentional just to show you that I die if I go off the bottom of the map. That was definitely what I meant to do.
We love a speedrun that is also educational.
Exactly. Yeah, remember, don't fall off the bottom of the map. It is very painful. Alright, but now that I got the package, I have to make my way back, but now there's a bunch of fire. Thankfully, if you know the cycles and do them well enough, then you're able to go straight to the end there. But this one's a fun one, because that's an incredible GR18, and this level has a unique skip to it called Incredible Skip. That skip is... okay, I was hoping I would get it first try so it would coincide with my explanation. There we go, second try. Basically, the birdie whirlers interact with armor in a weird way, so that when you damage boost off of them, they just give you way too much height. And combine that with the zipper, and you can just skip the entire level by going over the map. This level, casually, if you were to do this as fast as possible, doing everything as intended, it's like 50-55 seconds long. The IL record for this level is under 17 seconds. So needless to say, Incredible Skip saves a lot of time. Also, I did open the settings menu very briefly right there. If you blinked, you might have missed it. That is because when you open the settings menu on the map, it instantly puts you onto the next tile if you were moving towards the next tile. So basically, I can, for super long segments of the map, I can basically just move towards the next one, open the settings menu, and close it, and it puts me on the next one faster than if I had just waited out in the entire animation. And throughout the run, I use it a couple times, and it saves about 4 seconds across the whole run. So nothing too massive or anything, but it is, very, very easy. So it is very worth doing. But these levels here are introducing Flingo. I mentioned earlier how basically every item in this game has some momentum use. This is the best demonstration of that, because you grab it and it launches you in the opposite direction. The further away you grab the Flingo from, the faster it launches you. And that's basically what you need to know. There's also the minor extra thing where if you grab one on the ground, it instantly gives you sprint, but most of the time you're going to be grabbing them in midair, so that's mostly what you need to focus on, and that's what this level's all about. You gotta go to the 4 corners, you gotta hit all the switches in those 4 corners, and don't die along the way. So that level is tricky, but it is fun. Very satisfying to get it cleanly. Whoops. Alright, this is GR18 Meet the Flip Whip. It's the level that kind of introduces the Flip Whip. They stick their tongue at you, they try to lick you, and if they do, that hurts. So you don't want to let them lick you. This level is just a bunch of optimizing to do so. Torna, if you have anything else you want to say, now's a good time.
Well, we do appreciate every donation towards Little Warriors, but we also appreciate spreading the word of this worthy cause. If you're on social media, you can also help out by sharing our social media posts and getting the word out about this event and Little Warriors. Type !social in chat to get links to Prevent-a-Thon's social media. And shout out to the social media team who has done a phenomenal job so far in this marathon.
So this next level, this is Note Cart. This is, casually speaking, this is one of the hardest levels in the game. Because basically, if you were to go into the game's Discord and look for anybody complaining about a level in the campaign, like 60% of the time, it's this level. Once you know what you're doing, it's not that hard, but it's, an auto-scroller where you just have to dodge a whole bunch of moving stuff. Like a bunch of projectiles, a bunch of other stuff, and it's just, very tricky. And there is actually a faster way to do the ending here, but I messed up and forgot to do it, so I will not be doing it. No fancy explanation about how it's hard or inconsistent. Nah, I just forgot. There's a lot of levels in this game. It's hard to do every single one of them perfectly every single time. But this one is a fun one because this is a level where, you're supposed to go around, find out what the secret code is. Because there's a bunch of switches here. You only have 5 boxes. So you gotta figure out which ones to press. It's the same every time, so I already know which ones to press. So I can just immediately grab the package right after entering that code. This is an interesting level, because this is a level where you're trying to drop the enemies into the buckets at the bottom of these screens. And so you basically have to hit these switches with perfect timing, make them drop in, and then once all the enemies are in the little bucket, you can finish the level. It is significantly harder than I made it look, because if you don't know, like, a specific pattern to go for, and know exactly when to hit every single switch, you're gonna be stuck there for a while, because you're gonna forget which switch goes to which enemy spawner, and just hit them over and over again until one of them goes in. Alright, this level here is basically trying to introduce the Electro Shield. So basically there is two types of invisibility items in this game. There's the Electro Shield and there's the D-Bot. The Electro Shield instantly takes out any enemies that you interact with, while the D-Bot makes it so that you can't take damage from hazards. So basically they both protect you from different obstacles. One for enemies, one for environmental hazards. And they're going to be useful from here on out in a handful of levels. And like I said, this one is to introduce the Electro Shield. It just lets you, run through all of these enemies at the end and take them all out at once. That level's a little unfortunate, where if you do mess up at any point in the level, there's literally just the one checkpoint, so you gotta redo the whole thing. But not the end of the world. This one is a fun one, because if I get the timing right, I can just hold right here and dodge all of these cannons. And go straight to that last battery. Oh, and then I mess up the timing and walk directly into a rift. Right, but I need to grab these 3 batteries, go and deposit them. Have the switch here, and once I do, I can drop down here and utilize that Electro Shield once again. Because the longer you take to beat this level, the more enemies spawn in, and so the longer that ending takes. So in addition to, going fast being fast, it also makes that ending easier, because you don't have to take out as many enemies. This here is Temple of Karma. The entire gimmick for this level is don't kill any enemies. Kill an enemy, the game will punish you, because karma. Basically, this level is just full of spikes literally everywhere, and if you accidentally kill a single enemy using the Electro Shields that the game gives you, or just jumping on one of them when you're not supposed to, those spikes activate and they just instantly kill you. But this last enemy here, I do have to damage, because I have to make him smaller, get him through that gap, and then avoid killing him right at the end here, so I can make it to the end with the gold. Alright, this next level is the next power-up. Because what's a platformer without some form of flight? So this is the Ripcord. It's basically a jetpack that is also a little helicopter, because you can use it to boost up using the jump button in midair, and then once you're in midair, you can hold the power-up button to glide. And the jetpack feature does have a limited amount of fuel, but the glide doesn't. So you do have to refuel using, by touching the ground. And right there, I kind of just touched the ground right next to a spike using something called a pixel jump, because hazards in this game don't take up a full tile, so you can use a pixel jump to basically land right next to a spike on certain areas, and I used it there to refuel real quick. This level, unironically, has the hardest skip in the game, so I'll see if I get it first try. I did not. That is unfortunate. This is one of those tricks where you either get it the first time, or you just continue with the level, because since you have to basically restart the entire level to give it another attempt, you just cut your losses and keep going. So what I was trying to do there is I was trying to go under the map. A while ago I mentioned how if you can go off the sides of the map at the top, but as well as the bottom, but the bottom, there's gravity, so you'll die pretty quickly if you go off the side of the map, or the bottom of the map, but with the Ripcord, we're able to go under the map and then climb back up using the jetpack. So what I would have done there is I would have gone under that wall in the middle of that map, climbed back up, and been able to just finish the level from there. But it is very, very, very precise to get that right timing without dying from going under the map. So there's a reason why that's the hardest trick in the run. It saves like 10 seconds if I get it, and I only get it like 20-25% of the time, so needless to say, I do not get it in most runs. But if I ever do get it in a run, it is always very, very hyped, because it's far enough in the run where if I made it this far, odds are, if like I'm going for PB or something, if I made it this far in the run, I am on PB pace, so getting that trick on PB pace is very, very hype.
will say this entire run has been hype. I don't know about you guys, about everyone on chat, but this run has certainly been a very fun one to watch.
So yeah, that level was just like a little arena brawler where I gotta take all the enemies in the middle and just, you know, beat all the waves. But this one, cannons in this game don't only have to shoot missiles that damage you. They can also shoot explosive missiles that just push you. And that's what this level is centered around. Because by using those, you can basically launch yourself in very, very specific areas to get through this level very quickly. It is possible to get that last one to launch you straight into the goal, but unfortunately I hit the ceiling, so I didn't quite make it there. So that is a very satisfying level if you can get things to go as quickly as possible, but it is immediately followed up by a pretty tame one, because this is the level that introduces the temp switch, which is basically just a time switch. You know, it's a temporary switch, hence the name temp switch. But if I go fast enough, I can actually skip this last one and just go straight to grabbing those boxes and avoid the spikes. Also, this package grab is my favorite one, because those explosives just launch the package towards you, and you just grab up and grab it, even though you grabbed like a full second before the package was even there. Alright, Think Dangerously. This is a fun one where you basically have to use a bunch of bombs to blow up blocks that are holding down switches. And a bunch of other stuff using those bombs, like grabbing that key early. Yeah, basically this level is just, you throw bombs in very, very specific places. They allow you to finish these puzzles, because I already know what the puzzles are, so I'm able to get through them quickly, and just go straight to the end. But this next level, this one is a pretty difficult level, actually. This is Ride the Spike. So this is meant to be an auto-scroller, where you ride these platforms that have spikes spinning around them, and you just, you know, avoid all the obstacles. But I can also do this. So yeah, there's an entire third spike platform that I just didn't see because I skipped the entire level. But this level is the definition of cool concept, very, very, very annoying to play in reality. Because this is Trick the Cannon. The concept is you basically take these cannons, you know, they're trying to lock onto you, but instead what you're doing is you're making them hit other things, like enemies or the package, to launch them around. This room right here is the reason why this level is very, very frustrating, because if the enemies aren't in the right spots, it is very likely that they just jump around, don't ever get hit by anything that you're trying to shoot at them, and you're stuck there for like 20 seconds straight. Thankfully, they actually did cooperate that time. But when I say I've been stuck in that room for 20 seconds straight, that's not an exaggeration. There have been runs where that happens. Oops. This is Grand Theft Auto. It is a contender for the best name in the entire campaign. Because, you know, Grand Theft Auto. I just like that name. But yeah, this level is just a long level with a lot of small and, like, very difficult to optimize, but doesn't give a lot when you optimize them challenges. So it's just basically a minute long of small optimizations, which is a very fun level to speedrun, but it is very difficult to get a good time on as a result. But Tornet, if you have anything else you want to say, now's a good time.
And wow, do we have quite a lot to announce already. We have now surpassed $800 total in Prevent-a-Thon 4, thanks to this donation, a $25 donation from Anonymous saying, rhythm game, expert difficulty, more marathon, let's get that bonus game unlocked. So now that puts us at $823, meaning that we are only $202 Canadian to unlock that bonus game that is Spin Rhythm XD, and $200 to go so that we can unlock the incentive to upgrade the run to expert difficulty. So don't delay, folks, because we don't have much time to unlock that game. Only a couple of runs before that incentive closes. So donate hit exclamation point donate in the chat, and be sure to add the upgrade to expert difficulty when you are donating.
All right. Well, as we move on to this level is called Bound and Rebound because it is the level where we'll be seeing the last power-up in the run, the Rebound. Hence the name of the level. The Rebound is the projectile power-up, but in true Levelhead fashion, you know, just shooting out a projectile is not really that interesting. So instead, the projectile launches you in the opposite direction from where you're shooting it. So as a result, you can use it to just cross giant gaps or like scale walls and stuff like that. In addition to the projectile still being able to damage enemies. But as a small bonus, the projectiles also act as something you can jump off of. So if you were to bounce off of a projectile yourself, you know, it's the same as just like bouncing off an enemy or something like that. So this is a power-up that is very, very difficult to use, but it is very, very satisfying to be able to go quickly with it. Because it even has like a little bit of unique tech, where you basically get 2 shots at a time with it, but if you time your shots so that you fire the first shot, wait a little bit, and then fire the second shot right before the shots recharge, you can basically get 3 shots in a row instead of just 2. Because the timer for that resets when you fire the first shot, or starts when you fire the first shot, instead of with the second shot. And I did use it at the end there to go slightly faster because I used it to save a shot and get up to those platforms slightly faster than I would have been able to if I had waited out the recharge timer. But this here is the last auto-scroller of the run. It's pretty short, nothing too crazy. And in 80%, this level's not really all that interesting, in the sense that, you know, there's nothing too much to talk about, it's just you go through with Rebound. But this is a level where in 100% this is one of the hardest levels in the run, because getting all of the collectibles while still, you know, matching the speed of the auto-scroller and getting the on-time delivery is extremely difficult on this level. It took a lot of practice to get it consistent, so it's always very nice getting in at 80%, where it is significantly more laid back. Alright, but I mentioned how this is a game with a level editor and a lot of user-made levels, so naturally the second to last level of the campaign is Troll level. Because how else would you try to finish up your level editor campaign? Obviously I know all the trolls, so I'm going to be just dancing all over them. I will not be playing into their wiles at all. This is a pretty fun level, because I think troll levels are fun as long as, you know, they're good troll levels, and this is a good one. But here, I mentioned how that was the penultimate level, which means this is the ultimate level, the final level, the last level of the run, level number 93. And in true final level fashion, it is a culmination of everything you've seen in the campaign so far. It's going to have a section for every power-up, feature a ton of stuff along the way, and in true Levelhead fashion, we're skipping one of those sections. So by doing that super jump, we skipped the tiptoe section, so we're just not doing it. So we go directly onto the ripcord section instead. But this is the, like I said, this is the final level, so time will be when I reach the goal at the very end of this level, so about a minute out, so I will call that out when it happens. But yeah, this has a ton of small optimizations and big optimizations, because the level is so long. You know, being the longest level in the game, that means it's got a lot going on, and each of these sections are basically each of these sections could basically be their own level on their own. One more shell jump at the end here, grab the rebound, and we can damage boost through this section, because that fire ring is on a global timer, and so depending on when you get there, you have to either damage boost through it or just, you know, not hit it normally. But grab the zipper, and in true zipper fashion, we're going to cheese. Because the last section of the level is going to basically have me cycle through all of the other power-ups one last time. We're just going to zip through instead. And time.
GG.
Thank you. But yeah, that is every single level in the Levelhead campaign done as quickly as I was able to play it tonight. I'm not going to say as quickly as possible, because these levels are always possible to go faster. That's how speedruns are. but I did my best to show them off as best as I could here tonight.
Well then, IllegallySam, is there anything else that you want to say to chat before we sign off?
Sure. If you want to see more of either me, this game, or any intersection of those two things, you can feel free to follow me over at twitch.tv/IllegallySam. This is this game that I speedrun the most. I do speedrun other stuff, but I always come back to this game at some point, so I'll be speedrunning more of it at some point in the future. And if you are interested in picking up the game and or speedrunning it, it is available on like pretty much every platform: Steam, Xbox, Switch, even iOS and Android. And if anybody is interested in picking it up, you know, we've got a community Discord that is for just the game as a whole, and that is where the speedrunners gather as well. So if anybody is interested in this game, either casually or not, feel free to search out that Discord and find it, because it is everywhere, including in-game at the bottom of the screen here. But that's pretty much all I've got, so thanks for letting me show this off for you tonight.
Awesome. And chat, let's give it one more GG for IllegallySam. What a fantastic run of Levelhead. And don't go anywhere, folks, because soon we will begin our rhythm block. I can't wait for some of these runs that we got coming up. But before we do, let's take a quick break, gonna stretch our legs, get a glass of water, maybe grab a quick bite to eat, and we'll be back in just a brief moment.